We are now just under 5 months away from the official release of Star Wars The Rise of Skywalker by writer and director J.J. Abrams and Chris Terrio. This is Mike Zero. Make sure to subscribe if you're new to the channel for future Star Wars content. Now, what's really exciting about Episode 9 is that we do know that this film is going to answer a lot of the burning questions from The Force Awakens, while also giving us a better idea of where this is really going to go for the future of the Star Wars franchise, and how JJ is really going to connect it to the new Star Wars trilogy to a certain extent. And with that being said, this film really does have a lot of potential as being the best of the current trilogy. Now, these past couple of weeks or so, we've been learning a whole lot more about this film, and when it all comes down to one of the concept art descriptions, this is where things begin to get very intense for one of the sequences based in the third act. Now, specifically, what's really intriguing is that shot descriptions consisting of both Rey and Kylo Ren standing next to each other, where it's described that their lightsaber duel is interrupted by Luke's Force Ghost that separates the two, where it's said that this is the moment in which Rey and Kylo witness the visuals of the netherworld of the Force. It's described that this takes place at the end of the third act, where one of the scenes is said to involve the Force Ghost of Yoda, giving a lesson to young Ben Solo and Rey. It's said that Yoda begins to talk about the wills and how the beyond is what caused both good and evil and the great divide between the Jedi and the Sith, where it's explained that Yoda tells Rey and Kylo that they must defeat a great evil that is close by, that is powered from the beyond, and that Yoda explains he now knows who it is, and that he has seen this power before and is not to be underestimated. The scene serves as a warning between Yoda and Luke to Kylo and Rey before they face the Dark Acolyte and Palpatine's spirit, where after their duel against Palpatine, they will visit the Netherworld again, where the apparition of Anakin Skywalker is planned to make an appearance. So let's go over a couple of parts about this, because this is a very interesting side of Star Wars, not just showing us the netherworld of the Force and having us, go through a lesson provided by Yoda to both Ben Solo and Rey, where their alliance is beginning to form to take on this greater evil. What I find very interesting about this is that this is a moment in which Yoda is talking about the beyond itself, of how it was the very thing that caused both good and evil in the galaxy, and of course it is the very thing that caused the great divide between the Jedi and the Sith. But it's not just that. Yoda also warns, both Rey and Kylo Ren about this great evil that is rising and is nearby, and that Yoda also explains that he has seen this power before. Now, this is a great way for Yoda saying it's Palpatine without actually saying it's Palpatine, leading up to his ultimate reveal once they exit the Netherworld, where eventually after their duel with Palpatine, they will go back into the actual Netherworld once more and see all three Force Ghosts. Now, what I like about this is that we do have a sequence in which Episode 9 is going to provide a lot of great detail just as this, and giving us a better view of the Force, the Netherworld, and everything related to that type of mythology of the Star Wars franchise itself. This movie really does have a lot going for it, and the fact that JJ is borrowing a lot of elements from Star Wars Legends and abandoned ideas that were rejected by George Lucas. In fact, one of the big rejected ideas in the early 2000s was indeed a novel that was actually set to really explain more about the Netherworld of the Force. I believe it was back in 2002, maybe 2003, some years before Revenge of the Sith released. They planned to have a novel about the Netherworld that was ultimately scrapped by George Lucas, and they did not do that. So, most likely they are drawing directly from that abandoned idea for Star Wars Legends and incorporating it all into Episode 9. And that's what I like about this film, is that they're not just utilizing a lot of EU content, but they're also drawing from a lot of ideas that we've never actually seen, and that has never actually seen the light of day in the Star Wars franchise. So with Kylo Ren and Rey getting the warning from Yoda and Luke's Force Ghost in the Netherworld about this great evil, it prepares them. It prepares them against this new threat. Yoda even tells Rey and Kylo Ren supposedly that, this is a power that is not to be underestimated. Which, we have seen a great example of this type of warning and or lesson provided by Obi-Wan Kenobi to, Luke Skywalker. And what I like about that is that, yes, this is somewhat of a parallel to that moment in Return of the Jedi, where Kenobi warns Luke about the Emperor and his manipulations and all that. But, on the other end of things here, this is the very beginning of the alliance between both Rey and Kylo Ren. I think the biggest question of all is, where does this really lead? Does this lead to the redemption of Ben Solo, or is this going to end terribly for our favorite characters in the Star Wars franchise? We'll have to wait and see. Now, with that being said, Palpatine's return, being portrayed by Ian McDiarmid, really is the driving force for the hype of this movie, without a doubt. And I think that the fact that JJ expressed so much enthusiasm about Ian's performance in this movie, we really are in for quite a treat and in for a ride. Anyways, guys, drop a comment below. Let me know what you think about all of this in the comments. And if you guys did enjoy the content for today, do make sure to drop a thumbs up on this video to support the channel. I thank you all so very much for the kind support, and I'll catch you guys next time.